Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Kingsley's Adventure! Welcome to Dungeon 3, which is a rather interesting dungeon, which we can go up the slope that we slid down, but it's not the exit. We're kind of stuck in here until we can gather the 3 herbs we need in order to make an antidote for the poisoned root beer. We have some new bugs too, these horned beetles. Spike beetles? Anyway, they're rather annoying because they take 3 hits in order to take down. And they're kind of around everywhere. Also, the catacombs are actually really creepy. Mainly because we are surrounded by bones, and death, and skulls, and coffins. You know, everything dead. However, this dungeon is actually the shortest one of the entire game, which is rather surprising compared to the welcome committee of the second dungeon. This dungeon actually only has 5 rooms to it, this being the first and this one being the second. The dungeon is pretty much split up into 3 different rooms connected to this one. And each of the rooms, each has its own specific herb, which we need to get by performing specific tasks. I should not have opened that chest. But hey, the chest was there. I thought it was going to contain something really fun and good, but no, it didn't. Yeah, this pretty much just acts as, get my tongue on straight, a connection room to each of the 3 rooms. So let's begin with this one. Here's the first herb. But how do we get to it? Oh, rhino. Oh, goody. Luckily, we have our sword. The sword, I believe, is simply one that has the longest reach, and he was dealing with some serious business in terms of graves. There we go. Yeah, rhinos are down here for no apparent reason, other than there has to be enemies in a dungeon. Luckily we have our sword, which I believe is the one that gives us the longest reach, and does the best damage, but it's highly negligible. Let's collect all the money. Oh god, there's a third one? Totally didn't know that. So yeah, if you swing well enough, you'll actually do a 3-hit combo, which ends in Kingsley swinging around in a circle. So, how do we get to this herb? Well, remember all the way back in the tutorial with floor tiles like this, with the keyhole? Well, we have things over here that we can move. So, and there's 3 of them in total that we need to move all across the room to get to their respective sizes. This is kind of a low point in the game for me, because this room takes a while and there's not much going on, which is kind of a disappointment. But hey, they had to stick it somewhere, otherwise, what were they doing this for? I don't believe it has to be perfectly on, but oh, wait, it kind of does have to be roughly on, because then it wiggles. When it wiggles, you know you've done good. Yeah, what makes it long is that you have to do really long pushing sequences in order to get across the graves and raised platforms to get them into the proper spot. Of course, the music gets you right through this part of the dungeon too. Fortunately for me, there's not much else I can say. Other than, well, I do find it odd that this dungeon is the shortest one of the 4. There are 4 dungeons, by the way. but But it kind of just messes with my pacing a bit. Mainly because you think that if you're doing a standard progression curve in a game, you would have like the first dungeon be the one that sets you up for what is going to be happening in the game as a whole, and then increasing as you go on. This one feels out of place, mainly because of rooms like this. And there we go! There's our first herb. And now with that herb, we can leave and head on to the next 2 rooms. Unfortunately, that chest doesn't fill up with more hearts, which is kind of disappointing. Now, time to get this purple herb over here. So many skeletons. Oh yeah, and beetles. So, what are we doing? Well, we're having to figure out how to get over there. And it involves this area over here. Every time you kill one of those beetles, one of the platforms shows up. And has more beetles show up. However, the beetles over on the mainland try to jump for you and, well, jump to their deaths. See? One. That is actually very nice to see. That you don't have to be dealing with more beetles. There we go. Which brings us to a floor switch. Which opens up that herb. Alright. Now it's time for some fun. I believe it is a race against time, but because it's a floor panel. However, the gate does stay open for a really long time. I believe that panel just stays on. Hi, beetle. But there is our second herb. It looks really similar to the first herb. And I can't believe I just did that. Whoop. There we go. Now I kind of just rushed through, so let's see what else there is in this room. Aha! There's a chest with a life! Really, really handy. And I got hurt, so that's also a good thing. So let's head out of here and get to our third and final room with the last herb. Okay, this room has the herb all the way up there. So how do we get to it? First, plunder chest. Shouldn't have done that, but oh well. Let's just get an idea of what this room has before we continue. Trap chest. Oh, we got baboons? We got some kind of monkey with a cleaver. There we go. But we have the same thing that we saw in Dungeon 2. Color switches. Kind of the same as... It's kind of the same as Dungeon 2 anyways. But there's no reference point for where the colors are. So what's the order? Well, we have to get rid of this baboon first. He's big and intimidating, but of course, you really just take the same tactics as every other enemy that you fought in the game. He just takes longer in order to kill. Now, behind specific barrels, there are numbers. And these numbers will help you figure out what order you press the colors in. Some of them are fake. Others are obvious because the number is peeking out. But what do these numbers mean? Also, why am I pushing... Yeah, diagonals are not this game's strong suit. But what do these numbers mean? Well, the numbers correspond to the order As in, this color first, this color second, this color third. So we got purple, red, blue, yellow. Again, purple, red, blue, yellow. I am gonna forget that. Purple. Red. Don't swing your sword at it, Kingsley. Blue. Yellow. Thank you. And that brings the herb down. And that's it. We have our 3 herbs. So we can leave. Technically. And make the antidote for the root beer. Find you out? You were twitchy and weird. You still are twitchy and weird. Oh! Okay, you just kind of gave yourself away. No. Alright. Time for the 3rd boss, Clarence. Clarence is a bit of the first annoyance that you're going to be getting in the game, seeing as he is a flying enemy. You're not able to actually attack him when he's flying in the air, so the best thing you have to do is run away. But to be honest, running away is actually not the thing you should be doing. You should be using, well, good use of your L2 and R2 buttons. Ow. And the thing I've continued to fail to do is when he does that, when he charges into you, you block him. Alright, I am down to half a heart. I am going to die. But that's pretty much the pattern to him anyways. Dodge him while he's flying, and when he's preparing himself to charge into you, block his attack, and then repeat. See, we're already down 2/3 of his... Oh! It was gonna go so well if I actually did that right. Luckily, we can just kind of skip the dialogue and everything and head back to the fight. Get down. Alright. So yeah, if you're not good at, well, using your L2 and R2 buttons, really running away is probably the best thing you can possibly do. And go! There we go. I actually never mentioned the boss music for any of the bosses so far. Honestly, my favorite is Snuff because it's really interesting. But of course, Clarence is also really good. I really can't say anything bad about the music. And why did I block that? Get my patterns down, get my patterns down. Whoop. He's being tricksy. Alright, there we go. Now we should be at the point of close combat. And there we go! Very simple once you figure out what you're doing, but of course, if you're doing this first time, you may forget what some of the controls are. Yay! So now we can leave. Properly this time. So it was Tim all along who poisoned the root beer. Some demon. However, how are we getting out? Well, stairs have appeared. However, also there is a rhino. Which might trip you up when you're not expecting it, so you can poke him down there and leave. It's one of those games where you can just simply say, forget it, and leave. But that's it for the 3rd dungeon. Very simple. And I'm sure that means something to Harry. Oh, it does. That dang Clarence, he's always causing mischief. Yeah, okay. Forget about Clarence, he's dead. Whatever. But now we have boots and the crossbow. It seems odd to me that you would get to use the crossbow in the tutorial, which I kind of have to say that it's good that they teach you everything you need to know outright, but why would they give you the crossbow now? That kind of seems weird for the pacing. We get 3 different kinds of melee weapons, only to get the crossbow now? Only for the 4th and final dungeon? It's a bit odd in my opinion. But don't worry, we're going to be getting full use out of the crossbow in the next dungeon. Don't worry about that. So let's just see everybody and how everybody's doing. Because the antidote has been made, and, you know, in light speed. In perfect record time. Alright. So let's see how the rest of the town is doing now that they have perfectly good root beer. If you don't talk to all of the people in the Abbey, I don't believe you're actually able to. Nope, because this guy won't let you. Hopgood. Want to go back in? Nope, I can't. So if you missed anything in there, or if you wanted to talk to everybody, make sure you did it while you were inside. But let's see everybody. Hey. What the? Oh, those are bells, okay. That was weird. Oh, apparently we can't see the mayor. Alright. Well, anyway, I'll do the same thing I usually do with the towns. That shouldn't be the majority of your face. It's really... That is not something that's good. Not at all. Not at all. But yeah, I'll go and talk to everybody in the village right after this. But for now, that is going to be it for me. Next time, we're going to return once again to the King and Queen and see where that 4th and final dungeon is. And who is the last place to be saved from the tyranny of the Dark Knights and Bad Custard, who we haven't actually heard from since the intro. See you next time, everyone. I did have to use it. Ha!